Hey guys, today on People Now, Kim K meets with President Trump to continue her efforts in prison reform. We have details.
NFL superstar Odell Beckham Jr. addresses his sexuality in a new interview.
Taylor Swift is set to make history at the Teen Choice Awards.
Ryan Seacrest reveals his hilarious birthday party blunder for J-Lo's 50th celebration.
I woke up on my own and couldn't move my arms.
Actor Jack Bannon explains how prepping to play Batman's butler in Pennyworth left him in the hospital.
It's all live today on People Now. Let's go.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to People Now. Here we go.
Ooh, there's the excitement we know and love.
No need to calm down. Taylor Swift will be receiving the first ever Icon Award at the 2019 Teen Choice Awards. We are here for you. You guys excited for that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit?
Not as excited as Friday.
That's
okay. All right, to celebrate her achievement, we want to know your favorite Taylor Swift album. Is it Fearless? Is it Red, 1989, or Reputation? Maybe one of her other albums. Answer our People poll or tweet us with the hashtag PeopleNow.
We're going to check in on those results in a bit, but for now, here's what you need to know and what's trending today. Kim Kardashian West is dripping in gold in Washington, D.C. The reality star turned prison reform advocate stopped by our nation's capital on Thursday, rocking a monochromatic tan suit with matching boots and a metallic gold bodysuit. Only Kim K can pull that off. Kim was meeting with President Donald Trump to continue her efforts in prison reform. Kim met with inmates at the District of Columbia Correctional Treatment Facility as part of Kim Kardashian, The Justice Project. It's her upcoming documentary on oxygen. No word on a premiere date at this time for that, but we'll keep you posted. Now, the KKW beauty mogul has spent the last few days in D.C. visiting the Georgetown Prison Scholars Program, who tweeted about Kim's visit, calling her a true criminal justice warrior. Honestly, I'm really pumped to see Kim using her platform for this kind of thing. She gets a lot of criticism for things, but
she's actually doing wonderful things for people.
And some fans are speculating that Kim also met with President Trump regarding ASAP Rocky's incarceration in Sweden. ASAP Rocky has been charged with assault in Sweden, and it was announced on Thursday that the rapper will be tried for assault causing actual bodily harm following his July 2nd arrest alongside 2 other men. Kim and husband Kanye West have lobbied the White House to get involved in freeing ASAP Rocky. President Trump saying that he would contact the Prime Minister to try and resolve this because he felt compelled to do something. On Thursday, President Trump tweeted out his plea to free ASAP Rocky again, suggesting Sweden should focus on its real crime problem, and then hashtag free Rocky. So there you go. That's a bizarre story.
Only in 2019.
Only in 2019. NFL superstar Odell Beckham Jr. finally addressing his sexuality, saying that he wasn't offended by rumors on gossip sites that he was closeted. In an interview with GQ, Beckham Jr. says, quote, "I've never had an opportunity to talk about this. Honestly, wasn't offended. I've never once had no problem with anybody who has their own personal life that they live. I have friends who are gay. It was almost more funny to me." He goes on to say, "I almost messed with them even more. It's like when someone gives me an ultimatum, I'm usually always going to go to the opposite way of what you want me to go. So when they would say that, I would almost mess with them even more. I have no problem with anyone's sexual orientation." That was his quote. The football star also addressed race and love in the interview, saying it was a lose-lose situation for him, and there was a stigma built up that he doesn't like women from his race. Denying the notion that he went on to explain that if he was seen with a white woman, people would question why he isn't with a black woman. Beckham says that he has no problem with any race, explaining he believes love is love. He says, quote, "If you're attracted to somebody, you're attracted to somebody." The 26-year-old joked that the people that he did not like were those who annoyed him. So there you go, kind of clearing the air a bit. Taylor Swift is set to receive the first ever Icon Award at the 2019 Teen Choice Awards next month. Fox announced the big news in a statement on Thursday, praising the singer for all of her success and influence. The statement says this: "As one of the best-selling music artists of all time, with more than 50 million albums sold, Taylor Swift is a pop culture icon whose accolades and achievements go beyond topping music charts and selling out stadiums worldwide." That statement continues to say Swift is also one of today's biggest social influencers, using her voice and platform to inspire and create positive change. The special honor comes amid a busy year for the 29-year-old singer. Next month, Swift is set to release her 7th studio album. It's called Lover. She's already released 3 records from that project, the most recent being her song, The Archer, which dropped earlier this week. During an Instagram Live on Tuesday, Taylor revealed that she couldn't wait to share that song with her fans. She said, "I really wanted to give you track 5 before the album came out." The Archer marked the first piece of music she released since publicly slamming Scooter Braun and Big Machine label co-founder Scott Borchetta for purchasing her former label for $300 million. In even more Taylor news, on Tuesday, the musician tied with Ariana Grande for racking up the most nominations for the 2019 MTV Video Music Awards with a whopping 10 noms for her music videos Me and You Need to Calm Down. We've also seen Swift become more outspoken about politics in the last year with her public support of 2 Democratic candidates running in the October Tennessee midterm elections. She's used her voice and platform to stand for LGBTQ rights with her music video, You Need to Calm Down, and even shared a copy of a letter that she had written to Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander, urging him to support the Equality Act. Now, Taylor Swift has recently sent out a call to action to her fans, encouraging them to reach out to their own state senators. She says, quote, "While we have much to celebrate, we also have a great distance to go before everyone in this country is truly treated equally." Oh, and by the way, she's also starring in the upcoming Cats movie that's coming to theaters this December. She is unstoppable, doing so much. Congratulations to Taylor and all her continued success. You can watch her receive that 2019 Teen Choice Icon Award on August 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. We'll be watching.
Yes.
You've got more for us in Star Trek.
Yes, we are kicking off Star Trek today with a possible new couple alert. Okay, maybe a stretch, but Jordyn Woods was spotted with Khloé Kardashian's ex, NBA star James Harden. TMZ caught the two on video at a busy nightclub in Houston, Texas, dancing and smoking hookah. Harden plays for the Houston Rockets. Harden and Khloé dated for 8 months after the two met at Kanye West's Staples Center birthday party in 2015. He even opened up about their relationship to Sports Illustrated in 2017, saying he, quote, didn't like the attention that came with the relationship. Of course, Woods is currently estranged from Khloé and the rest of the Kardashian clan after she was caught in a scandal with Khloé's other ex, Tristan Thompson, earlier this year. Khloé and Tristan share 15-month-old daughter, True. Now, Jordyn admitted in an episode of Jada Pinkett Smith's Red Table Talk that Thompson had kissed her at a house party, but denied that the two ever had sex. Jordyn, who was best friends with Kylie Jenner and lived with her, ended up moving out of Kylie's house after the news of the cheating scandal broke. The 21-year-old has since said that she's sorry, but Khloé has proclaimed she never wants to see Jordyn again. And Harden and Thompson aren't the only Kardashian exes Jordyn has been seen with. In June, she was spotted with Kim's ex, Ray J, while they filmed an episode of VH1's Hip Hop Squares. And we all know how Ray J and Kim's relationship went down. There's that infamous 2003 sex tape. What seems like the Ray J Jordyn thing was more work-related, but hanging with James Harden, jury is still out on that one.
Woo.
All right, now watch this.
I like big boys, itty bitty boys.
Lizzo, already, she's let us know that she likes all types of boys, but could she handle having to choose and hand out roses? In an interview with Cosmopolitan, the Truth Hurts singer reveals that while she doesn't keep up with the Bachelor franchise, she would, quote, love to be the Bachelorette, saying it would be the coolest season ever, and we agree. Now, most of the time they pick someone from the previous season to be the next lead, but they seemingly were willing to make an exception for Khloé Kardashian a few months ago before she shot them down, so maybe Lizzo could be next. Now, the singer has a few requests for her season. She says the men would have to be naked, and they would have to wear little thong briefs, and they would have to feed her grapes. Hey, she knows what she wants from her suitors. It's not the worst idea. She went on to say some other very risque requests that we cannot repeat on this show, but it was funny, and it would be one wild season. I can't wait to hear what Chris Harrison thinks of that. All right, watch this.
And he's got the list, and I see a bunch of Ryans, and he looks up, he says, oh, Ryan Seacrest, how are you? I said, great, so excited to be here, it's gonna be fun tonight. He's like, big night? I said, yep, 50th birthday, can you believe it? All right. He goes, you're not on the list.
No.
This is a true story.
Oh no, that's Ryan Seacrest sharing on Live with Kelly and Ryan on Thursday how he was initially blocked from J-Lo's epic 50th birthday bash. So it's quite the story. Ryan shared that when he first RSVP'd to the party, he actually didn't realize the glitzy Evite said it was being held in Miami. So that was problem number one. But he decided to make the flight down just for the party anyway, noting he had to be back to New York the following morning for work. Now, despite the very tight schedule, Ryan says he was determined to celebrate the superstar, saying, I've known her for a long time, I'm getting down there, I'm getting back in time, and I'm gonna be there because I got the personal invite. Hey, if you get the personal invite from J-Lo, you gotta go. Well, after arriving to the party an hour early, he says he gets to the front of the line, proud, beaming, smiling, and the guy alerts him he doesn't see his name on the list. Can you imagine? You fly all the way there, you're not on the list. Now, Ryan goes on to reveal that not only was he not on the list, he was asked to wait while the guy working the list made a phone call.
Insult to injury.
Yeah, especially if you're Ryan Seacrest and you're just waiting.
Like any pause at all is insulting, right?
He was finally allowed in, but since he was early, he was basically the only one there, which is always awkward. And remember, he's on this time crunch because he has to make a flight back to New York, so he was pretty nervous. He wouldn't even get to see J-Lo. It's very tense. Well, once everyone arrived, everything was all good. Ryan saw A-Rod make his very romantic speech. He had mac and cheese while sitting next to Jennifer. He was able to leave the party to make his flight, so he says that J-Lo definitely understood all of it. But the best part of Ryan's story is that while he thought that the party was pretty lit while he was there, J-Lo managed to turn it up even further once he was gone. So Ryan made it all the way down to Miami and back, managed to miss this part of the party.
Yeah, that was the exciting part. I'll say one of the things that sticks out to me is like kudos to the security guy. Knew who Seacrest was, and he's like, sorry, like I got to make a call.
Maybe thought there was some weird tension he didn't know about.
Right.
Ryan was just showing up.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not sneaking in, nobody's sneaking in, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's always your worst fear, though, is that you get to the front of the line and you're supposed to be on a list and you're not there.
Yeah,
but then it's even more epic proportions when it's J-Lo's party.
The other funny part to that is just the thought of him finally walking in. It's like, no one's there. And he's like gone to all this effort, which a guy like Seacrest could do. I'll just fly to Miami for a night real quick. But like the fact that he was just like looming and waiting.
But at least he made it, so.
Yeah, worked out. Also, Lizzo, back the story, Lizzo as like the Bachelorette would truly be the most epic season, dramatic season.
Amazing, and you guys got to look up her other quotes that we were not allowed to say on the show. But I love her, and it would be the best season
Who
ever.
wouldn't watch that, right? I mean, to see her take on the selection process and everything, that's unbelievable. Plus, she'd probably be singing throughout it and rapping and everything.
Look, and Chris Harrison, I think he responded to Khloé Kardashian when they were all like talking about that. So maybe this is a possibility.
Or some spin-off version of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, make it happen, Chris Harrison. Stay with us, guys. We are breaking down the biggest moments from this week's Real Housewives reunions with the Countess Luann taking center stage in New York and Camille Grammer in and out of Beverly Hills' hot seat. Plus, the adorable tribute the Queen gave to her grandchildren. We just got a little sneak peek at You'll Never Guess How. Stick around for that.
All right, to celebrate Taylor Swift being honored with the first ever Icon Award at the 2019 Teen Choice Awards, we asked you to vote on your favorite album from the singer in our People poll. So let's see what you guys are voting.
Take a look at the poll here and the results. 1989.
Yeah, that's my favorite, actually.
I actually like that a lot, too. It's got a lot of really moody music. I like that kind of chill. And
I like moody Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, keep voting, but for now, we move on to this. Guys, Prince George turned 6 years old this week. Time is flying, and here with all the details on the royal birthday, the Queen meeting the new British Prime Minister, and much more, our People's senior news editor, Erin Hill, and our royal correspondent, Imogen Lloyd-Webber. Good to see you both.
Good to see you, Jeremy.
Kind of hard to believe that Prince George is 6 years old. Man, Erin, what's going on with this? Time is flying. How'd they celebrate?
It really is. And the royal family went to the private Caribbean island of Mystique to ring in George's 6th birthday. Long history with the royals and the island, starting with Princess Margaret in the 70s, and Will and Kate have been several times over the years, even brought Kate's family, so really special family holiday for them.
Private island is the way to go,
It
right?
is.
So, absolutely.
What about birthday gifts? What do you get for a future king?
So we know that George has had on his Christmas list for the past few years police cars, so that's got to be on there. And William revealed that his favorite movie is The Lion King, so this is perfect timing with all the Lion King this summer, and he loves the Lego movies.
Okay,
so
there you go.
yeah.
So there's some great ideas
That's
anyway.
good ideas.
He's a normal kid.
Yeah.
And Imogen, something different about the official sort of royal birthday portrait this time around. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so Kate Middleton, who's a very talented photographer, finally was the one who took George's 6th birthday portraits at Kensington Palace and on holiday. It's more intimate than normal for George. He's a future king, so we often see professional photographers taking these
Photos,
portraits.
yeah. I love that one.
I love this one. I think that one is going to become iconic.
When he's laying in the
moving forward.
grass, yeah.
Kate has done it for Charlotte and Louis' birthday portraits, but yeah, this is the first time.
They
for
really
George.
are adorable
Birthday.
photos. There it is.
It's amazing.
So great.
Yeah.
People reported this week that Prince George has had a busy summer. Erin, talk to us about what we've learned about his interests. Could any of those interests and hobbies lead to something like a royal patronage down the road, like polo or something?
So Kate revealed that George has received a tennis lesson from Roger Federer, which is amazing.
It's the most amazing headline.
And seeing that Kate is the patron of the England's tennis club, maybe one day George can take that over. He loves being outdoors. Kate is patron of the Scouts. Maybe one day we can see George take that on. But we talked to a family friend who said that George is a jolly little person and inquisitive. So all really sweet details to learn
Just love
about.
to imagine a world where getting lessons from Federer is your baseline.
Just
just life.
Normal. Yeah.
Prince Harry was busy this week visiting Sheffield on Thursday. It's one of the stops at the Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
Imogen, what's significant about this?
Yeah, so Harry opened a new wing at the Sheffield Children's Hospital. He signed the visitor's book, which Diana also signed during a November 1989 visit to the hospital.
So we see Diana's signature there, Harry's signature as well. Wow, really
Echoes,
special.
absolutely. He met with Julie Austin, a nurse who worked at the hospital for 34 years and had a chance to meet Diana during her visit 30 years ago. She was actually wearing the costume of the hospital's mascot, Theo, and Harry hugged her. Harry then went on to Sheffield University to learn about a project which uses technology to make it easier for amputees to train themselves to use prosthetic limbs, which is obviously aligning with his interests there. He also went to the Invictus UK Trials, where athletes will compete for a spot on Team UK at the 2020 Invictus Games at The Hague in the Netherlands. So busy day for the new dad.
Very
there.
busy,
Yeah.
lots of significance there and
What's going on?
continuing some of the traditions. Now, Queen Elizabeth met the new British
Yes.
Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, at Buckingham Palace on Wednesday. It's the 14th Prime Minister that she's met during her reign. That's a real achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, it is absolutely. Her first Prime Minister was Winston Churchill, so it's
amazing.
extraordinary history. Now, you're not supposed to know what the Queen talked about to the Prime Minister. It's a very, very private conversation. However, Prime Minister Boris Johnson made his perhaps first gaffe by revealing what she said. And she actually said to him she didn't understand, it's very hard to take on this job. She doesn't understand why anybody would want the job of Prime Minister at the moment.
Okay.
With Brexit going on,
Right.
that's pretty understandable.
Yeah,
isn't
there's
it?
a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. So yes, massive sort of tradition going on. The outgoing Prime Minister Theresa May made her farewell speech, officially submitted her resignation to the Queen. Shortly after Johnson met the Queen and kissed her hand, which was following tradition. The Queen actually had to delay her holiday to Balmoral for a few days to get this done, but she's now off to Scotland.
Man,
for
and
her
what a
annual
perspective.
visit.
What a perspective she has. And I would imagine the words of wisdom she could offer, anyone should listen to with regard to being the Prime Minister.
Absolutely.
Aaron, eagle-eyed viewers also spotted something interesting in the room while that meeting was going on. What did
Yeah.
they see?
So, like, proud grandmas everywhere. She has pictures of her grandchildren around the room, and so we spotted two really famous engagement portraits of William and Kate, of course, and then Harry and Meghan's, and then also a portrait of William and Harry in their military
I
uniforms.
see it over there on the side. All right, yeah, the eagle-eyed fans, like, really,
Right.
what did
Zooms
she
in,
have
what's
pictured in the room?
background?
Prince Harry was also seen monkeying around this week. That joke will make sense after you watch this.
Yeah.
Maybe it made sense, maybe not. That was Harry meeting Dr. Jane Goodall at a Roots and Shoots global leadership meeting on Tuesday. Dr. Goodall is a renowned conservationist, famous for her study of social interactions of wild chimpanzees. Imogen, what is happening here in this meeting?
So Dr. Goodall asked Harry if he remembered the chimp greeting from when they previously met. The royal then put on his best impression, which you're seeing, approaching her as if he was a male chimp and she was a nervous female chimp. He then patted her on the head, encouraging her to embrace him in a hug. As we all know, Harry is very committed to advancing conservation efforts around the world, something close to the hearts of also Prince Charles and Prince William.
What a unique
Very
and
cool
special moment
And
there.
she
Yeah.
also revealed she got to meet Archie and just last month, and Meghan, and said that Archie is cute and gentle, and Meghan told her that she's a personal hero of hers.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. Great stuff, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good to see you.
Wait, I've been to 8 of your shows, and I've brought a number of people with me to your shows. First of all, I think you're a great performer. I love your show, but you have to have some type of self-awareness, and I'm sure you all will agree with me here that
Lou can't sing.
no,
No, you can't carry a
that's not
tune.
it. I think it's like me.
But you're a great performer.
I mean, you're not Adele, Luann, but
No,
you're,
I'm not, and I
but
don't
you're-
pretend to
but-
be.
And Andy throwing in some little zings there. We're about to discuss that musical moment and so much more from the final part of the Real Housewives of New York City reunion. Plus, reunion season continues. We are also breaking down the top moments of part 2 of the Beverly Hills reunion and a highlight from the ladies of Potomac as well. Lots to
And
get
here
to.
to dish on everything from the chic to the bleak within the Real Housewives world are People's Housewives experts, People writer and reporter Dave Quinn, and People TV producer Sam Belikoff. What's
Hey,
up,
guys.
guys? Thanks for joining us. All right, Sam, what was your reaction to that clip we just watched where Barbara said Luann is not Adele?
You know, it's funny because I was always under the impression that Luann was Adele, in sort of like a, Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana situation. I mean, clearly she's not Adele. Hello from the other side, indeed. There's so many things. I'm gonna do like Barbara. First off, there's so many things I can break down in that clip, and I'm going to rattle them off. First off, I love how Ramona, like the first instance of it, goes, "You can't carry a tune." Like nobody else was worried about speaking. And then on the opposite side, right after this clip, Andy actually says, "So the other ladies, do you think that she can sing?" And Bethany's like, They're all silent. No one thinks she can sing. They think that she's a good performer. I was at Luann's first cabaret show. I saw her perform in 2010 on stage. I'm an OG fan, and she is a great performer, but I don't think she can sing. She's not Adele. No.
Okay. So, Dave, the lady said the punishment of Luann holding this hot mic moment against Barbara doesn't really fit the crime. Do you agree?
Of course it doesn't fit the crime, but that is the purpose of reality TV, right? You need to make the smallest thing into the biggest thing to try to build a story. And quite frankly, I think that Barbara's lucky that Luann made it such a big deal because Barbara got even more screen time.
Yeah.
You know, you have to think of it that way. I always tell these women, you're only getting about 7 minutes an episode. So if they're talking about you in their 7 minutes, you just got
to do the same thing.
There's strategy behind
Yeah,
it.
right.
Did you have other favorite moments from the Barbara segment?
I really did. You know, I think that Barbara is a great fit. I know that there was a lot of conversation about how she didn't really fit into the group. I think at one point Dorinda talked to her about being like a melon in a fruit basket. But I think that she is, I think that she's great. Like, I live for a sexually fluid housewife. I live for somebody who, you know, is opposite and can kind of rile up Ramona. I thought that there was great chemistry there. And more importantly, I think that this cast is better than a lot of the other Housewives cast because they really do support one another. You know, we saw later on in the segment, in this reunion, Bethany talking about how she kind of, when Sonia was going through her drinking thing, was like checking Sonia's bag to make sure that everything was okay and like doing it off camera to make sure that she really didn't have a problem. They support one another in a very unique way, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, Sam, do you have a favorite Barbara moment, and what do you make of Barbara as a housewife?
Well, I think that Dorinda said she was a turnip in the fruit basket, which is much nastier than a melon. I like that she turned up to the season. But, you know, I don't think she fit in. I think you got to get rid of that turnip in the fruit. No offense. I enjoyed watching her. But there was this kind of fun yet sad, no offense. There was this fun yet sad moment when she was basically resigned to being a friend. And she's like, but I make a good friend. And they all were like, you do, you do. I loved the hug. I loved the hug procession. Bethany went to give her a hug because I think she felt bad after, you know, like removing all of her tanner and everything that she's done this season. And then Luann goes to give her a hug, and Ramona goes, can I hug too? Ramona, who's been so nasty to her all season. And Andy Cohen is like, I'm good. I don't need a hug. I love you, Barb, but we're good. So
I would have given her a hug. I would have given her a hug.
All right, another top moment of the night came when mayhem ensued after one of the ladies, guess who, admitted she didn't know something about another one of the ladies. Watch this madness.
But she never asks questions about us. It's always about her.
Okay, where's your daughter going to school this fall?
I don't know. We haven't even talked about that yet.
You didn't ask?
You don't know anything.
You don't know where her daughter's going to school?
She was still waiting.
The last time that we connected.
Pen.
That's insane.
That's amazing. She hasn't told me. We haven't seen each other.
I texted you,
Where's your daughter going to college? You know,
My
the biggest
mom
thing in her
did.
life.
That's insane.
Okay, this is the support that I get.
I did not hear one thing that was said.
Sam, what do you think of the support that Lou gets?
Well, I think that was some really good support there because, you know, Luann said in this reunion, and also to us, well, follow me here. Okay. She said that she is going to be on Chicago, and they're giving her a case study in jazz hands and handwork because there's so many hands in her face pointing at her. I mean, that is not support whatsoever. But Luann, it's a two-way road, you know, and Luann has done a lot of things to not support them, and that's what they kind of don't like. They're basically saying, you don't support us, so why should we support you? But yet we have, and you're not seeing it. I think what's really interesting is there was a question in this reunion of why this season? Hasn't Luann always been like this? And the women were saying it's worse this season, but I think Luann has always been like this. This is a woman who in 2010 wrote the lyrics, "Life is about elegance and flair and savoir-faire." This is not a woman who is not on her high horse. I said it before, this is a Trojan horse that Luann is on, and that's, you know, how you want to see her, because it's great TV.
I love that, Sam, coming with the receipts to prove the point. In a season filled with top moments, the final one from New York City this year came in the form of forward movement. Watch this.
Do you accept Luann's?
I do.
Do you accept where she's coming from?
I do.
Do you think she will change? She's acknowledged this.
I not only accept it, I want to help her to get to the finish line. I really do. I want to help you get to the finish line.
Thank you. I need the help. I really do.
And I'm going to do that.
So Dave, what's your reaction watching that moment, kind of seeing the women forgive Luann for the behavior?
Again, it comes down to the fact that this cast really knows how to rally around one another. I think that they truly do care about Luann. They want her to be okay, but you know, she needs the help, and she says it right there. It's nice to see that sort of love. I hope that it carries on to the next season. I hope that we can kind of leave Luann alone for a little bit. She's had a rough road a couple of past years, and I think it's time for someone else to get
I like when there's real emotion breaking through there, and that kind of emotion breaking through. It seems very genuine and connected.
All right. If New York's reunion was all about Luann, Beverly Hills this week was all about Camille. So one big moment came after she said she felt terrible about Lisa Vanderpump's brother passing, and it was off to the races after that. Watch this.
But you can still say she has terrible breath and her gums are receding.
That was a joke, and you all laughed. And you all laughed. And you continued with the conversation and said, yes, don't get me into it, but she's always had bad breath.
I did.
Yes, you have. That is bullshit. You've talked about that off camera with me.
Camille, that's such a low blow. We've all said things privately about each other. I would never out you. If I did right now, it would be a very bad situation. I don't do that.
Woo. Sam, what was your reaction watching this?
More jazz hands here. I mean, aren't we all just Lisa Rinna sitting there shell-shocked? Camille came in hot. She was hot on part 1. She's hot on part 2. And we know later that she walks off. I'm sure she'll be hot when she comes back in part 3. This is a moment, though, that I really think speaks to, I'm not going to say a problem with Beverly Hills, but a difference between Beverly Hills and New York. The whole thing was Kyle saying that was off camera. That's a low blow. And Camille brought it up. Guess what? This is a reality show about your lives. If it's off camera, I'm going to bring it up, says Camille. And you know what? We're happy for that. They need to not think about this distinction between off camera and on camera. Of course, there are certain things that should be left off the table, but I think those things are like 1%. And I think that cast thinks that it's the larger percentage.
I loved Rinna's face, just didn't know where to look.
Oh,
Just like, okay, look ahead, don't acknowledge. Top moment of the night came after, after Camille told Denise Richards that she didn't like her, and after she accused Denise of cursing at her children. Watch what happened next.
When you were sitting there at lunch with Camille and she was trash-talking everyone, what was going through your mind?
I was really uncomfortable because I didn't want to.
This is truly a setup.
This is truly a setup. What is a setup?
I'm done.
No, what are you talking about?
Did your own stuff.
What are you talking about?
I'm done. Well, they did say those things.
Is she on something?
She did say she cursed at her kids. And she did say that.
She's so angry.
So Sam, when it comes to Housewives reunion walk-offs, where does this rank?
It's very high up. I feel like we're looking at Taylor Swift at the 2019 Teen Choice Awards because Icon Award from me. Andy Cohen said Icon, I'll say Icon. I mean, who else like slinks out of their dress while on stage? I mean, that is iconic. She tweeted that it was because she wanted to get her mic pack off, but it reminds me of like someone who kind of like hates their job, and the second they get home, they're like naked and they're changing because they just gotta like get out of that mode instantly. I mean, was it a setup like she said? Of course not. Camille has been on since season 1. She knows that what you do during the season is going to be brought up, and these are things she did. So maybe she said a lot of things, but she has a lot to answer for. So it's not a setup in so much as that any woman is set up because of what they actually did, but it still was a great moment to see. In the preview for next week, Andy is talking to Camille. Camille comes back on, so there's good things to look forward for part 3, but Kyle says this is Camille season 1 times 10, and I agree with that. We're in season 9, end of season 9, so maybe that's appropriate, but you know, we needed to see this Camille. It had been a long time coming, and it was really for the good of the show, especially with Lisa Vanderpump gone, because that was a big engine of a lot of conflict between the women. And as much as we like to see them come together and be friends, obviously a big part of the show is the interpersonal relationships and the friction that ensues.
And Camille brings a lot of friction there.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the Real Housewives of Potomac. A tough standout moment came when Ashley revealed that her own father, who's never really been in her life, blocked her on Facebook. So take a look at her scrolling through his pictures while using her mom's account. Watch.
I just don't know why. And he has his other kids on here. I just don't understand why.
Wow. So Dave, she goes on to talk about, trying to find her father. Do you think this is going to become a big storyline this season?
I think so, and I have to say, I'm glad for it. Ashley's really been in the hot seat these past couple of weeks with the rest of her castmates, and I think this really humanized her. The big problem is she doesn't often reveal a lot of things about her own personal life, so this was a huge move from her. We saw her earlier in the episode talking in therapy with her therapist about how she never really felt connected to her father. She used to do things where she would talk out loud to her dad. He left when she was just a year old. And she would talk out loud to him as a kid in her bedroom and speak to him.
So
she
sad.
used to really kind of fell into this trap of thinking that she was the reason why he left, and related that a lot to her relationship with her husband, Michael, who is kind of a father figure for her, she even admitted. So it was some big things from her, and I would love to see this progress. I mean, that is so heartbreaking, not being able to have a relationship with your dad, reaching out to him and having him block you on Facebook, watching him online with his other kids.
It's a very real moment.
And whether
really
you're
genuine.
a fan of hers or not, this moment, you realize, like you said, it humanizes her, and you do feel for her.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even Candace, who's been a huge adversary of her this entire season, spoke about it on Twitter, saying, I really related to her in that moment, and my heart broke for her. So it's good to see it even kind of brings.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans are going to connect to that as well. Yeah.
All right, Dave, Sam, thank you so much for being here. The Real Housewives of New York City is over for this season, but everyone make sure to follow along with us and watch The Real Housewives of Potomac Sundays at 8 and the third and final Beverly Hills reunion this Tuesday at 9 on Bravo.
All right, guys, we are taking one last look at our People poll. We've been asking you what your favorite Taylor Swift album is, celebrating her getting that Icon Award.
Looks like 1989. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, what is it by? Yeah, it's kind of close. No, not really close. It's sort of close.
But 1989 wins.
1989 wins, that's the point.
All right, we'll be asking you a new question of the day next week on People Now, so tune in for
Any
that.
other comments about that? No.
But now, watch this.
I started up a security firm. My apologies. Thursday night's always a bit naughty. We can meet Saturday. It's going to be a nice day.
It's rather forward of you.
No, I saw the weather forecast.
I didn't get your name.
Pennyworth.
All right, guys, ever wonder where Alfred, a.k.a. Batman's famous butler, got his start? Well, Epix's new action-packed series, Pennyworth, is giving fans an inside look at how Bruce Wayne's butler came to be.
Jack Bannon is taking on the role of Alfred, and he opened up about how preparing for this role left him in the hospital. Watch this.
It was a long and arduous audition process, for me anyway. And when I eventually got the role, I had about 2-3 weeks until we started filming.
And there were loads of top-off scenes, weren't there?
There were a few.
He thought he should get a six-pack in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
So I was like, right, I'm going to do it. So I hired a personal trainer and went to work, really. And after about 2.5 weeks, a few days before the read-through of the pilot, I woke up and my arms were completely seized. I couldn't move them. They were at right angles and they were all swollen. And I thought, something's not right. So I said something's not right and my girlfriend said, get over it. And
Don't ever mention a girlfriend in an interview if you're a budding new, very hot actor.
I woke up on my own and couldn't move my arms. And I essentially ended up in hospital.
Trying to be hot.
And I got, yeah, it was all vanity that put me there. And I had this thing called rhabdomyolysis, which is synonymous with, it happens to people in car accidents and natural disasters. So I was 2 days away from the read-through of the pilot in a hospital, 2 hours away from London, being told that I needed to remain in hospital for 4 to 5 days. Luckily, the senior doctor who I saw, the very last person I saw was a Batman fan, so I told him on the sly why I needed to get back to London pretty quick, and he said as long as I promised to drink 5 litres of water a day, I was allowed to go. But I'm fine now. But it's great because what it means is it's given me completely free rein to look exactly how I like and not have a six-pack, and anyone who's got a problem with that, I'll be like, well, I nearly died, so...
All right, look, well, he still looks great, and that's possibly the best excuse not to have a six-pack if I've ever heard one.
Well, Ben Aldridge is stepping into the role of Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's billionaire father. And while his role is a little more on the serious side, Aldridge found himself given a rather cheeky nickname.
#BatDaddy.
You have to say hashtag.
Actually, I have to credit him. A very good friend of mine, my friend Andrew Scott, actually came up with that hashtag.
Andrew Scott.
Hey.
Yes, Father? Yes, Father?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but...
Oh, God.
Can I get that coconut back?
All I can think about is my arousal for the priest in Fleabag.
But he that was so brilliant. He came up with that, and someone had mentioned it the other day, and he was like, "I hope you're going to credit me for that." So that was his invention. But
Was it?
yeah, I'm into it. I'll take that. Hashtag Bat Daddy.
Yeah, hashtag Bat Daddy or Bat Zaddy, right? Actress and singer Paloma Faith will be debuting a new character in the DC world, the villainous Beth Skies.
She does such an amazing job in this role. I'm terrified of her. It turns out she also scared a few people on set. Watch.
I worry that maybe we're very similar. I feel like the whole crew was worried about that. We were on set and people were like, we can't tell, because in the UK, for people who don't know, I'm quite well known as a singer, and people were just like, we're really worried. Like, I thought I knew who you were because so much of my personality comes out in interviews, and now I'm questioning all of my preconceived ideas on you. I'm terrified and I can't sleep at night. So there is a helpline that's been set up.
Job done.
Yeah, where can we find this hotline number? Since Paloma's role is slightly terrifying, we had to know if she would be letting her kid watch her play the villain.
I kind of made this, I vouched with myself that if I ever portray a role that my child can watch, I've failed as an actress. So I'm trying to make sure that my repertoire is macabre, offensive, and completely terrible, because I feel strangely like I endeavour to be a good role model in my singing career, and I feel quite excited and secretly empowered by the prospect of not being a good role model in character. But my kid can't watch this show because it's so highly offensive and scary, and I don't want them to see their mum in that light.
I am intrigued.
Me too.
By that. Coming up next week, we have animals in the studio. Nat Geo Wild's Jack Randall joins us with some of his scaly and hairy friends.
Seeing that toad there, but there are a bunch of others.
Crazy.
Plus, Rebecca Rittenhouse dishes on working with Mindy Kaling for a new series inspired by 4 weddings and a funeral. Thanks for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from Jimmy Simpson. We just had to see the toad one more time.
Poison toad.
All right, watch this.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Simpson. This is one last thing. The last time I laughed so hard I cried was at a video my wife made of our cats. Because that's our main source of entertainment and joy. The last thing I Googled, what is the meaning of life? No answers. The last show I binge watched, modesty aside, was Perpetual Grace Limited, because I had to catch up.
$26,000 back, or I'm gonna get you.
I was really happy with the program. I hope you are too.